So this video is about how I became a second generational trucker. And I'm gonna kind of tell y'all my backstory and what's next, you know? Let's get to it. I can only tell y'all so much is because I only know so little. Fortunately, my dad passed away February 17th, 2026, not too long ago. So I've been going through all this, and I figured I'd kind of tell y'all in the video and not on the vlog. But either way it goes, it started with my dad, uncle. But this how it really began. My dad was a sharecropper. My grandma was a slave. Like, I guess, you know, pick cotton. My dad ended up leaving the farm. He went to my other grandma that I know personally before she passed away. R.I.P. He went to the military at 17. I think he enlisted at 16, but went in at 17. Boom, he came out. I guess he didn't know what he wanted to do with life. So he went to California. His uncle said, hey, I can teach you something that where you won't need for nothing. And all you gotta do is just learn how to drive this truck. Yeah, he just been driving from 24, retired at 68, passed away at 83. I came about in 01. And basically, I was born on the truck. I remember they was telling me my dad had to load to New Mexico. He got my mama to the hospital, you know, and he's like, I gotta go run this to New Mexico. And they said he ran from Louisiana to New Mexico and then back to the hospital in 2 days. So I salute my dad, man. That's living legend, man. The GOAT, like all that, man. Best father figure, all that. I can't even say anything. Turned 1, I was on the truck from 1 year old to I was 15. So then from there, basically I was groomed from 1 year old all the way to 15 years old on how to drive a truck. It's kind of sad to think about, you know, now that he's passed away. It's just like, man, you know, I wish I could have just had every moment with that man. Go back and never tell that man no, you know? And like, my dad would always come rescue me when I got in trouble. Always come rescue me, man. That's one thing I can say. My dad was always there for me. Then basically I went to the military entrance program 5 times, bro. And then I was like, you know what? It ain't working. It ain't working. I keep getting banned. Then they keep bringing up old stuff. Like old stuff like from emergency visits I went to because I was doing stuff I ain't had no business doing. And it just kind of like messed up everything. Turned 21. I see CFI advertising for trucking. I see Swift advertising for trucking. Lo and behold, I should have went to CFI. Because if I would have went to CFI, I would have been in the truck at 21. But I chose Swift. And I chose Swift because I was just watching YouTubers, man. And like, I see a lot of Swift YouTubers at the time. And I was like, you know what? I could go drive for Swift, you know? I could drive for Swift. But I was wrong. I let drugs mess that up too. So I passed the piss test. I passed the P test. I had sobered up before I knew better. I knew better. When I knew when to get into trucking, I was like, you're gonna have to sober up. But I was still young-minded until 3 months. So I passed the piss test. Then they put that razor to the back of my head. And I was like, what that for? And they was like, you know, this is urine test and a hair follicle test. So I failed the hair follicle test. So my dad, my dad caught wind of it. He was so disappointed, man. I was so mad at myself for a long time. I just kind of gave up, man. Like, I was like, the military ain't working, trucking ain't working, so I gave up. Yeah, if you if you fail the hair follicle test, then you're okay. So I didn't know that, man. So I gave up on myself. And then I got in the hole again, man. I was just so depressed. And so I had to go out, hang out, man, and just do dumb things. And I ended up having a baby. And so when my son was on the way, I was like, oh man, reality starting to kick in, you know? I'm like, oh man. A homeboy called me. I was like, man, I was like, man, I failed at everything, but I don't know what to do. Like I said, I got really bad off in this drug, and it took control of me, man. And I ended up having to like go through some things that I didn't want to go through. And so I took myself accountable for everything. And I said, you know what? I'm going to the Salvation Army. He's like, hey man, if you want to get your life together, you know, I know just the thing for you. And so I was going through this thing. I was tripping. I went into the Salvation Army, and I got some structure to myself, man. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I learned how to be a man in there. Like, my daddy always taught me how to be a man and what a hard working man looked like, but I never got to, like, I just didn't have the structure. And so when I went to the Salvation Army, when I tell you it was like boot camp, man, it was like the closest thing to the military you'll get, but through salvation. You can't even get a cigarette for real. You can't get no nicotine. You can't do nothing for 30 days. Yeah, you get 3 meals a day though. I got chunky in there, man. You get 3 meals a day. That's the best eating I ever done in my life. Like, the meals was so good. They give you a suit, right? They give you a suit, a tie, and dress shoes. And you go in there, you gonna wear that every Sunday. No question about it. You're gonna tie your own tie like a man. You're gonna put a suit on, and you're gonna be a man every day. But Sunday, you're gonna be a sharp man. Oh, I'm not trying to be a sharp dressed fella for YouTube. That's just me. I was installed that, and like, basically, I was broke down, and that's how I am. Like right now, you got me in some sweats and a shirt, you know, a t-shirt. That what we wore at night. But you did not go downstairs until you had a collar shirt on. You know, you might get away with popping your collar sometimes. You know, it depends on who's who and how everybody feeling that day. You was not walking around that building without one of these. Nope, never. If you wore shirts and shorts downstairs, you had to be going to the gym, and they had a designated gym time. It was so great, to the point where I really had the structure that I needed. I sobered up, and I ain't touched a drug since then. And I probably will never touch a drug ever again. We had a saying, and it was, where there's a will, there's a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. A man may be down, but he's never out. A man may be down, but he's never out. And bro, I live by all them sayings, man. Like, the Salvation Army does help you obtain your CDL, obtain any trade. It's a great place to go if you really want to change your life. But I will say this, I didn't obtain my CDL through the Salvation Army at all, and then I just volunteered. I learned this thing right here. And this take me a long way, man. And I'm still studying, but it take a long way, man. A long way. I am promoting the Salvation Army, but you know, I want you guys to look into it. And like I said, if you're serious about changing your life and you're watching my page or my channel or whatever, you know, I want you to consider, if you're thinking about driving trucks and you know you're dirty, go to the Salvation Army, volunteer for it, and do your 30 days. Do a 30-day challenge. You don't have to, but it'll definitely prepare you for being out here on this road. That was the best thing that ever happened to me in my life, and I put that on right hand to God. That was the best thing that ever happened to me in my life, man. What's next for me? What's next for me is I'm gonna start looking into different avenues as far as like getting my endorsements, getting this manual restriction taken off, which is not a big deal because, like I said, a lot of companies are already starting to switch to automatics. I got a 5-year plan here, and to be honest, I just want to get my manual restriction off, get all my endorsements done, and just see where I go from there, you know, and get back in the gym. That's my 2026 resolution. I gained 50 pounds from when I started in training to now, so I gotta get back in the gym. And then once I get the manual restriction off, I noticed that there are some good companies out there, like, okay, Martin run old school PTs. They got 379s, 389s, or something like that. I don't know, or 392s. Either or, they got old school PTs with the option manual. We got that here too. We got Smith, and they do manual. I'm gonna start working on my endorsements every home time. So now, guys, like, the content will slow down a little bit, but not as much. It's not as much. It's gonna slow down a little bit because I need to be on this computer, laying in my bed right about now, and studying for my endorsements. And my other goal is try to get 1,000,000 miles with millis. That's my other goal. 1,000,000, my bad, 1,000,000 safe miles. That don't have to be achieved, but that's one of the ones I want to achieve, you know? It's just taking it slow. Basically just taking it slow. Like, oh man, we missed a beautiful video today, and I'm just not even gonna film, man, because I was riding downtown Milwaukee, trying to get to the brewery, and I'm driving, I'm thinking, I said I'm not gonna record. I just bought the SD card. I would wait till the next load. Then this would have been a perfect video, and it's just beautiful. But oh well, you know, we ain't gonna get all of them, and I'll probably run it again sooner or later. So just learning every day and getting that manual restriction taken out for sure. That's a pain because, like I said, my dad was super trucker. My dad had his own trucking company, you know, and he just learned all the ins and outs of the game, you know. They tell me stories like my dad would drive from Maine all the way to California in 3 days, like 2 days, actually 2 days. The legend is 2 days. So yeah, man. Another thing is too, guys, is I want to see how far that I can take my YouTube channel and just grow, like just grow. But that probably consists of this video. Is there anything I didn't touch? Yo, girl. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, that'd be it, man. We'll be back again with another video sooner or later. So I'm getting tired. We'll have this drop soon too. Once again, trucker family, y'all stay tuned.